So Tabatas are probably one of our harder variations of conditioning. Some of you may have heard of Tabatas before. Really, what a Tabata represents is a work-rest ratio, and that work-rest ratio is 20 work, 10 rest. So you're resting for half the amount of time you're working. So you'll probably receive a document with your name on it. There'll be a number beside your name or a name in the group that you're grouped in. And we work off of 120% max aerobic speed here. We pull a max aerobic speed from a conditioning test number, whether it's a mile, a Cooper's test, or a yo-yo, whatever it may be. We can pull it from that, and that gives us your max aerobic speed, and we can figure out what 120% of that is. So your number, so you'll receive a document with your number on it or a number for your group. In this example, we're going to use 15. So 120% of your max aerobic speed may actually be 60. Sorry, that doesn't look like a zero. May actually be 60. But when we set it up, we're going to cut that number into fours, and I'll talk about why in a second. So we'll chop that number, we'll divide that number by 4. So your distance will, like for example, be 15 meters. And we don't measure things exactly in meters. We use meters, but we don't measure it out exactly. So just take 15 big steps wherever you set up. So you'll set a cone, 15 big steps, and then set up another cone. All right. In our example, we're going to use 3 sets of 5 minutes with 3-minute rest. Again, our work rest is 20 and 10. So you have 20 seconds to go from this cone to this cone, back to the beginning, back out again, and then finish. So 2 down and backs in 20 seconds, or you can think of it as 5 seconds per trip. So 5, 5, 5, 5. Either way, you have 20 seconds to finish 2 down and backs. You want to finish at 20 seconds. Try not to finish at 21. Try not to finish at 19. Try to finish exactly at 20 because that's going to keep you on pace for your 120 your max aerobic speed of 120%. All right. So usually, and let's change the example here because you're never really going to do a whole lot here. In a Tabata, you might only do 2 sets of 2 minutes with maybe a 3-minute rest. All right. So what happens is it takes 20 seconds to do 2 down and backs. You rest for 10. Repeat 2 down and backs. Rest for 10. So you do this until you hit however minutes we prescribe for the set. So when you hit 2 minutes, you rest for 3, and then repeat one more. In this scenario, you just repeat one more because you only have 2 sets. But you do this. You go 20 on, 10 off for a total of 2 minutes. And then you go into your rest interval, and your rest here can range anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes, and we don't usually go too long on the Tabatas. So your sets will probably only be between 2 to 3, and your reps will only be between 2 to 4, which is different from our Eurofit and our grid variations, and even our stride variations when that can get pretty big. We keep it pretty short here. These will challenge you. These are meant to challenge you and be kind of high intensity. That's why they're not very long, and they're also kind of one of our end bosses. But a lot of times what you'll see here is not only does this work on, build upon the aerobic work we've done, not only does it build upon the anaerobic work we've done, but it also kind of works a little bit of the lactic system too. So depending on your sport, you may see a little more Tabatas than you see with other sports because of its lactic nature. But it's the most intense. We usually do this kind of when we get close to season for the teams that we condition. But it can be pretty challenging, so expect that and kind of be ready for that mentally. So these are Tabatas.